Hi, this is Rachel Ariana, and thank you so much for watching my video today. Today, I'm going to go ahead and review the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream. I used this CC cream in one of my last makeup videos that I did, giving tips and tricks for asymmetrical eyes. I really wanted to like this. I was hoping at only $14 or a little about $14 from Walmart that this would be my new go-to foundation, and unfortunately I have to say it is not. That is not the case. I have tried to use this in many different ways, and every single way I use it, it has been a fail. In fact, I'm actually wearing it right now, and maybe not on camera, you can't see how bad it actually looks, but this looks pretty bad. It is not settling well on my skin. It is coming off in patches in certain areas, and I have found that it just slips off the skin no matter how I use it. Now, I have been wearing it for a few hours now. I did my makeup this morning at 5 o'clock, and it is now, here, let me look at the time so I have to clear out my phone. It is now 11:49. Okay, so not quite 12 o'clock, but if we're gonna round, let's round to about 12 o'clock. I put this on about 5 or 5, and it is not even noon yet, and it is already breaking up on my face and already not staying in place. So today is the 4th day that I've worn this, and I wanted to wear it one final time, especially since I was going to give a review on it, thinking maybe I would give it one more shot before I came out and said that I do not like it for me, and that I will be returning it to Walmart. So luckily I had kept my receipt. So let me explain a little bit about my skin. So if there's anyone like my skin type or similar to me, maybe this will help you to maybe just go ahead and skip this CC cream. So I have oily skin. I would say oily combination skin. I am oily throughout my entire forehead, oily through my nose. I get oily sometimes, not necessarily on my upper lip, but the oil from my nose will kind of go down to my upper lip. I'm oily in the chin area, and I'm oily to about here on my cheeks. My cheeks here are dry, so dry here, but pretty much I suppose you would say my skin's fairly oily for the most part. And I have mature skin. My skin, I'm 43, I'm about to be 44, I'll be 44 next month, and I'm using tretinoin. So I use tretinoin every single night. I've used it every single night for almost a year now. I use the lowest percentage, the 0.025, but I still get flaking and peeling from the tretinoin, even now using it almost an entire year. So the first time I used this, I used it in the last makeup video tutorial that I did. Really, not really a tutorial, but more tips and tricks for asymmetrical eyes, because as you can see, even in this video, I have extreme asymmetrical eyes. So I'm always using eyeshadow to try to fix that. So I used this for the first time in that video because I saw rave reviews on it, people saying how much they loved it, you know, how great it is. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this a try. When I first used it in the video, I thought it was amazing. I actually used it with the dual complexion brush that they suggest to use it with. This is what they say to use it with. I did use it with this. I don't like to use brushes with my makeup because I end up using a beauty sponge anyway to smooth out the brush strokes and to help press it into the skin. But I thought, hey, I'm gonna try a different technique, and if they suggest to use it with this, I will. So I used it with this, and of course I thought it looked great at first. I thought it was amazing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is probably gonna be my go-to foundation. And I did use it in that video. By now, like exact same time like today, I did my makeup at that time about 5:30 or 5:30 I was finished. And by noon, it was already coming off. So it was already coming off, looking cakey, because I do have oily skin. By about noon, I need to blot my skin. I'll just take a tissue and I'll very gently blot my forehead, my nose, and those areas. And when I did that, just like today, it came off in certain areas. So it came off in certain patchy areas, came off around my nose, and you know, and so on and so forth. Because I'm getting flaky still, I have a lot of flaking. I tend to have it around my mouth area and a little on my forehead because of the tretinoin. It has caked up and has clung to every single dry, flaky piece of skin that I have on my face, and it will come off in certain, on some of the dry patches it'll just come off, and then other dry patches it won't. It just clings to it. I will get up close into the camera lens so you can see it after a few hours of wear, because when I did that video, when I initially had high hopes for this, it looked flawless and beautiful when I got very close to the camera. Now you probably won't see that. You won't see that, the flawless, when I get right up close, because I do want you to see how it looks actually having, you know, some wear to it on me specifically. I do want to talk about the other ways that I've worn it, so I wanted to give it a chance. So in that video, I wore it with my Le Base Pro Lancome Le Base Pro primer underneath. I didn't set it. So I used it with a primer, did not set it because it dried down to a matte. So I assumed that it would be fine because I use Lancome foundation, the Tint Idol Ultra Wear, which is my favorite. I never have problems with it, no matter what I do with it. So I figured, okay, well, I don't need to set this. It's dried down to a matte. So I didn't set it, used it with a primer. By noon, it was coming off my face. By 5 o'clock, it was done. It was pretty much worn off my face, except for the very oily parts of my face, like along my cheeks here and my forehead here. So because my skin's naturally oily, but because it's flaky, in the pores where the oil is, it's like this pulled and collected onto the oil. So you could see the dots of the makeup in my pores on the oil of my skin here on my forehead, but you also saw it attached to the flaky skin, right? The dry skin as well. For the most part, it had completely worn off my chin, except for a few dry, patchy areas. It wore off my nose, except for maybe little tiny parts, but it was pretty much done by 5 o'clock. So it definitely did not last me all day at all, and it was already breaking up by noon. So that was the first time that I wore it. So I thought, okay, let me give it another chance. Maybe I'll set it. So I used it with a primer the next day, set it, you know, used the complexion brush, used my beauty blender to smooth it out, and so on. Same exact problem. Didn't matter that I set it. When I blotted my skin very gently with a tissue, it removed the product from my face, and it was already just coming off, pretty much done by 5 o'clock. Not to mention, because it looked so bad, I absolutely did not want to, I just wanted to wash it off. Like, I could not wait till it was bedtime and it was time to do my skincare routine and get it off my face. Then I wore it another day. So I was like, okay, let me give it one more chance. I'm gonna use it without my primer. Okay, maybe it's the primer. Sometimes I'm iffy when it comes to primers, because sometimes a primer will make your makeup slip off. You know, I know that many people, you know, say or claim that a primer will hold on to the makeup. I have found that some makeup and some primer combinations, that's not the case. The makeup will slip off of the primer. So I thought, okay, well, maybe that's what's happening. I won't use my Le Base Pro Lancome Le Base Pro primer with this, and I will set it and I will see what happens. And I had the exact same problem. And today, it's not even quite noon yet, or maybe it is going on to noon now. Well, it's 11:58 now since I started this video, and it's already coming off, breaking up, caking up in certain areas, especially around my chin area. And I can already tell it's not gonna last throughout the rest of the day. It's already breaking down. And so like I said, today I did not use a primer. I just set it with powder, and again, it's already breaking up. The other thing that I have a problem with when it comes to this, aside from it just not lasting, is the e.l.f. made some claims about it being able to be matched, and that if you don't get your match, you know, you can return it, no questions asked, and so on. All of that is true. However, the matching or the color matches are way off in my opinion. I know I went on to their website and did a match, or tried to type in my color match based on the Lancome tint Idol Ultra Wear that I wear. So when we get into the warmer months, I can wear Buff Neutral, and that's, you know, it's fine. It will blend into my skin. There's no problem with it, and I'll be fine with that. I typed this into their little system where it'll tell you what makeup to buy based on what your current makeup is, or what you can, you know, currently wear. And it told me to get, I believe it was now I could be wrong, but it was either 250 light neutral or 280 light neutral. It was one of those. But regardless of the case, it was way too dark for my skin. So I brought it home, I put it on, it looked ridiculous. There was no way that I could wear it. So I had to take that back to Walmart, which was fine, no questions asked at Walmart. And I went in and just picked this out myself, knowing that the light for light skin would be far too dark. So I went ahead and I got the Fair 150 C Cool with the peachy undertones. So I chose to go with the cool as opposed to the neutral, because I'm neutral. I do have pink and yellow tones to my skin, but I chose to go with the cool because based on their recommendation, I saw that their color selection was way too dark and way too yellow. So extremely warm tones. And this does look a bit peachy, but still it's, you know, it does have those very warm undertones in it, hence the term peachy. And I did put it on, and it definitely does have a combination, I would say, of cool and warm tones in here. In my opinion, I feel like this would still more be a neutral color. So I don't know how I really necessarily feel about their color selection. I do feel like all of it tends to be more on the warm side, as a neutral side more than even cool, like a true cool color. But of course, I haven't tried all of the colors. This is just based on the two that I had the opportunity to try. So that for me, that was a little bit of a problem. However, this is okay. I can wear this and get away with wearing this particular color. So to me, that was a little bit of an issue. I do feel like their color matching, even according to their website, was way, way off. Now to get back to this again in terms of the way that it wears, to me, I don't think a foundation should be this difficult to wear or to try to make work for you. And the reason why I say that is because Lancome has always been my go-to favorite, because It doesn't matter what I do with this foundation. It doesn't matter if I use it with a primer, if I use it without a primer, if I set it or I don't set it, if I use it with very dry, you know, dry, like more of a drying moisturizer or a serum. If I use it with a serum, it looks great. If I use it without a serum, if I use it with really, really moisturizing skincare or not. My point of going through all of that, obviously we want to use our sunscreen every day, but my point of going through that list of things of how I can wear this is it doesn't matter how I wear it, the foundation looks great. There's never a problem. There is no caking up of this. I can blot my oily skin and it is not going to come off in patches, and it doesn't cake up. None of those things happen. It doesn't settle into my pores. I just love this foundation. I've always have. And for all of those reasons, like there isn't a problem whenever I wear this. So my point of mentioning that is a foundation shouldn't be hard. I don't think there should be this, you know, crazy combination way of having to wear a foundation to make it work, in my opinion. And it didn't matter what combination I used this in, I could not make this work for me. If the foundation's good, it's good. No matter how you apply it, no matter what, you know, if you set it, you don't set it, and so on. And so for me, $14 is not a lot of money, but it is a lot of money when you when it doesn't work, when something is basically, when you would just have to throw it in the garbage and throw it away. Luckily, I saved my receipt so I can get my $14 back. And for me, I don't mind spending money on something that's gonna work. So this is about $54, and I can see why it's $54 because when you use it, there isn't, it doesn't matter how you use it, or at least for me, this has been a great foundation for my skin. And even with my, you know, the dry skin, the dry patches from using tretinoin. When I wear this, it does not cling to the dry patches. You can't see the dry patches. However, with this, I mean, you can definitely see the dry patches. And even right now, it's starting to totally cake up around my mouth here. And I normally do not have that happen. So let me go ahead and get up to the camera. I hope you are able to see it in this light, but you kind of take a look around here and get a little closer. How it's just kind of cakey around my chin area. It's getting like cakey around my chin area. It's settling into like lines. It's making it look like I have lines that aren't even there. My forehead, I don't know if you can see on my forehead, but it is clinging to every dry patch there is on my forehead. So, and also you can see the texture. So that's the other thing that I don't like about this. When I use my Lancome for my mature skin, of course I'm gonna have texture. Like I said, I'm gonna be 44 in a month. There's no way around having some kind of texture. This does not accentuate it to the level that this is accentuating the texture on my skin. So like I said, if I get a bit closer, like especially in between my eyebrows here, there's like a lot of texture there that I have never noticed before until today, until I use this. So I honestly don't recommend this. I would say, for just in my personal opinion, if you have oily combination, mature skin, or even dry skin, because I do have the dry patches, but I'm having it all going on because I am using tretinoin and that kind of stuff. I just don't necessarily like this. So I myself would not recommend it. What I recommend, I mean, to throw this a bone, if you want to do a video or do, you know, takes a picture. I suppose it might be good if you only wear it for an hour, because I felt like the first 45 minutes, hour of wearing this, I felt like it looked really great and I thought I was gonna like it. But then after that, it just started to break down. So, I mean, it might be good for simply for those reasons, but then again, why even waste the $14 or spend the $14 on something like this when you could still get a more expensive or even another drugstore foundation that will last all day and still look great in pictures. So with that being said, I guess I'm just gonna say I do not recommend this product. Sure, it has some great stuff in it, but in terms of being worn as a all-day CC cream, for me, it has not lived up to the hype. So with that being said, I hope this review helped you. You know, let me know in the comments below. Have you used it? Have you had the same issues with it that I'm having? Or do you think I'm crazy? It's okay. If you are using it and you're like, this is amazing, it lasts for me all day, put it in the comments below as well for those people that are on the fence who aren't sure if they want to purchase this or not. But like I said, I, for one, I will be taking this back and continue using my more expensive Lancome foundation. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching it. I hope this helped. Please give me a thumbs up and I hope you would consider subscribing. And with that being said, I will see you in the next video. Bye.